Brad Redford here with the Be Different podcast, and we're not shooting downtown. We're shooting with a couple of meatheads over here. I got Alex Harbin to my left, John Andriacco to my right, and we are at their gym, Iron Sharpens Iron. Stay tuned for the full interview. Welcome to the Be Different podcast. I'm your host, Brad Redford is here. Nick Given, Greg Wichard here as always. And hey, if you're a first-time listener, that is awesome. Thank you for checking us out. But why listen to the Be Different podcast? Well, it's because we're highlighting the most compelling stories and people within sports. And we're in Cincinnati, so we're covering a lot of Cincinnati people. And we're hoping from this podcast that you can take at least one thing, whether it's something you laugh at, something that you think is funny, something in your business that you can add. Maybe you're an entrepreneur or even a coach and an athlete. So in every single interview that you look at, we're highlighting different people, and everyone has a different story, and we want to share that stories. We want to explain why people are different. And you're going to notice right now that we are not at the downtown studio. We are in a cage. We are in a boxing ring right now. It's actually the first time that I've been in a boxing ring. We're with two guys right now who I have a lot of respect for. They are crushing it in Cincinnati in the strength and conditioning space, doing everything, providing workouts for every single person. If you want to work out, if you want to get something done, and you want to work with some guys with some super high energy, Alex Harbin, John Andriacco, those are the two guys that you want to connect with. Alex and John, thank you so much for joining the Be Different podcast and being fantastic hosts. Yeah. John, I'm a little bit upset with you. Yeah. You punched me in the gut before going on the show, and I almost had to step out. I almost had to get out of here because I wasn't feeling well. But John, thank you for that. I needed a gut check.
You're welcome. The show goes on.
It has to.
It has to.
We have the show goes on, and Alex and John, just for everybody listening, where are you guys located? Where are we right now? And what is the best way to find your services? And we'll get into it, more as we go through the interview. But I want to make sure people know where to find you before we get going.
Yeah, so we're really conveniently located right off of 71, 2200 Dana Avenue. We are literally 1/2 mile from the Xavier campus, right next to Withrow High School as well. And if you want to find out more about how you can sign up for classes or just learn a little bit more about the gym, you can go to our website at isi-pt.com or Iron Sharpens Iron personaltraining.com, whichever one you want to do. We all know what they're really going to do. They're going to type Iron Sharpens Iron Cincinnati on Google, and then you'll find us. So a lot of different ways you can figure that out.
Yeah, just finding the site's great. I looked at it before coming in for the interview. I've seen it before. Yeah. Very self-explanatory if you're a first-time user or you're going on. And initially, so if I want to come on, I want to work out for the first time with you guys. Take me through that process.
Yeah, so what you want to do is you want to go in. You can check out, if you want to learn more about class descriptions, you just go to like our training services. But if you're pretty sure you want to come, all you got to do is click the try a free class. Your first class is always free with us. So you go in there. It'll show you a schedule of our upcoming classes. You can click into the descriptions of each class. Or if you're looking for something more personal, if you're looking for like maybe an opportunity to come in and do some 30-minute MIT sessions, you want to sharpen up your boxing skills, or you're looking for a more personalized program, you can check out our personal training services by just hitting us up on the Contact Us form on the website.
All right, fantastic. And we're going to open it up right now with a life situation.
I'm ready.
And this situation happened to me recently at the gym. And I want you guys to tell me, was I being a bad guy? And what you would have done.
So this is gym etiquette.
This is gym etiquette.
Okay. All right, let's do it.
And I came away from this situation a little bit unsure if I was the bad guy or not.
Well, probably not.
And I need some guys to decipher where I was at. So it was last Saturday. I was at the LA Fitness across the river in Bellevue. A ton. I mean, there's nobody there. It's like Saturday morning, like 9 o'clock, 9:30.
Yeah, no one there.
If I had to estimate the number of treadmills that were open on Saturday morning at 9:30, I would estimate right at about 100 treadmills wide open. There's absolutely nobody there. So I have a workout partner. We're going there. We're running. So we're on the treadmills. We got our bags and our stuff with us because we don't have a locker. It's not necessarily our normal workout spot. So we put it in the treadmill next to us.
Right.
So, there's literally, look to the right, there's 20, left, there's 20. We put, our bag and our sweatshirt on the treadmill next to us. So we had 3 treadmills.
Right.
Technically.
Yeah, right.
Okay. We were going to run for about 10.
So not each of you use a treadmill. Two guys on treadmills using them, one being used for storage.
Essentially, one of the treadmills was being used for storage.
Was the third one in the middle, or
It was
situated.
It was directly what I'll call my luggage or my storage. It was directly to the side. So I was on a treadmill.
Okay.
Yeah.
My friend Tyler, aka Handy, aka the Machine, aka Ice Hammies, was on the treadmill to my left, and then to the left of Handy was essentially our storage. And there's a guy in the back on an elliptical, and I kind of heard something under his breath, and I couldn't hear what he was saying.
Right.
And then we kind of like looked back, and then he grew some balls a little bit and started talking a little bit louder, and he was like, "How rude!
Oh,
how rude!"
Yeah.
And
him being rude was how rude he was talking about?
He was saying we were being extremely rude because there was only 95 treadmills that were open instead of 96. So we looked at him, and then, we were a little upset initially. Like, okay, at the end of the day, we decided to move the bag.
Right.
We put it down, and we did give the guy a little bit of lip service.
Yeah.
Was I being a bad guy? Was that very poor gym etiquette?
No, I think given the demand of treadmills, I think you're all right. I feel like if you took my first thing I said, if you had one person on one side, one like 2 treadmills away, and then yourself in the middle,
like a locker sandwich.
He might have still had a problem though. I don't know.
I think what I'm going to use is humility and just say maybe the guy was thinking it was rude that you didn't invite him to run with you.
Maybe.
Because there was no one else in the gym and he was just kind of feeling left out.
Maybe.
That might be a stretch. Or maybe he was working intervals. So if you're saying he was on the elliptical directly behind that.
Directly behind.
He might have had like a system where he's doing like a minute elliptical, minute treadmill. But if those two things weren't what was going on, then he should have had no problem with what was happening.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to double check with 2 guys who understand gym etiquette to make sure that we're okay.
Yeah, I'm going to say that
it would have been all right.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give you a pass on that.
You're fine.
Thank you. I mean, looking back, should I have done it? No, but it's not a huge deal. And to be honest, he's one of those guys who got on the elliptical and looks like he's on there for 8 hours. I mean, that's it. I mean, I don't know if the guy could move any slower on the elliptical.
He might have had it. He might have had that thing cranked up on like 12 resistance.
That's another etiquette thing, though.
Get off the elliptical, dude. You've been on that elliptical for hours.
Try a different machine.
Look in the mirror at yourself and see what you're doing first before you move on and take a look at the guys next to you.
Yeah,
that sounds like a personal problem.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm with that.
Now let's move on to what you guys have going on here.
Yeah.
Alex, kind of take me through the start. I met you probably about 2012, 5 or 6 years ago, and at that time you were over in Marymount, and then you've grown to this space.
Yeah.
You guys have a massive following.
Yeah.
How did this all start? Talk about the motivation behind Iron Sharpens Iron, and then as well as John's involvement and how John came to work with you as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's anytime you're kind of living out, like you're pursuing a business or you have a dream in your heart, it's hard to pinpoint when it starts. You don't know if it started when you were younger and, people are pouring into you. But I always grew up as an athlete, having people that were building into me as a young man, but also as a young athlete. When you're younger, you got people coaching your little league baseball team. You're looking at them, you're thinking that's all they do. They just coach baseball. And then you realize when you get older, man, they were making sacrifices in other areas of their lives to be there for me and to help me out. I was a college athlete. When I got done playing, I found myself in the gym still. I got offered to become a trainer because I was still in the gym. I didn't really enjoy sitting at a desk. And even though I had my degree and it was time to go out and find that job, I just wasn't excited about that. So I got the opportunity to become a trainer in 2010. I worked for a lot of great fitness minds in the Cincinnati area that taught me a ton about working out, how to build workouts, how to treat people when they show up at your door, how to run a small business. I mean, I really got a crash course on fitness in the fitness industry from some great people that I got to work with in that time. And by the time 2013 came around, my sister, who's always been a big advocate of me, she looked at me and just said, "Hey, it's time for you to do something. It's time for you to do something. You've been working around with other people. You've been learning." And she felt like the fitness industry was missing something that I could bring to the table with the dream and the vision that I had on my heart. So I set out in 2013 to do that. And one of the things I wanted to do was create a workout spot for people from all different backgrounds to kind of come into one area. And to leave any sort of shame or any sort of the gym can be an intimidating place. People from all different walks of life have, I don't know, they don't always have the best experiences in the gym. I mean, even if it's something like, imagine if, so get back to your story, imagine if that was like your first time in the gym.
Right.
And you're running on a treadmill and somebody says something to you about that. You just worked up all the courage in the world to get into that gym, and that's your first experience in the gym. Mm-hmm. We hear those types of stories time and time again. So we wanted to create a positive and encouraging environment because we know that that's where people are going to experience growth. So that's kind of how we came up with the concept and how we wanted it to feel. The name comes from the fact that, like I said, I've always had someone pouring into me, so I wanted to be able to pour into someone else. And our vision is to be able to create independently healthy people that are coming to us that eventually, hopefully, they don't need us, right? Like that's almost the business model. We should be training people into a spot where they really don't need our assistance or our help anymore, and also giving them the tools and everything they need to help other people into that lifestyle. So when you hear that iron sharpens iron, it comes from an old saying that says, iron sharpens iron, just like one friend sharpens another one. So when we're here, we're pushing people, we're helping people get to a better spot, and that's really just been the vision and the dream on our heart. And then, I reached out. I was getting to a point where I needed some help, and I put something out on Facebook like we all do when we're trying to hire professionally. And John reached out to me. He sent me a message and said, hey, man, I'd love to come out and check it out. And then next thing you know, John was on board, and I'll let him tell a little bit of that story from his side. Real
quick, John, before I get to you, I want to ask you one more question.
Yeah.
You talked a little bit about mentors that you had in the fitness industry, and then your sister talking to you. When did you decide to make that change from essentially working with other instructors, working in a group, and then going off on your own? Because I think that's the biggest challenge for people is deciding to make that jump. Like, no, like I understand where I want to go with this. I want to do it on my own, and I want to build something. You see a lot of other fitness instructors go out, try to do their own thing, and it doesn't work. And you can go across business to business and see owners start a company and it shuts down quickly. You guys have had staying power. So maybe talk just initially about that process, deciding to make that change personally.
Yeah. So I don't know. I kind of have this mindset of like, I want to always kind of like take new ground. So even when I was like working at a place, even if I was like really enjoying it, I was always kind of looking, not from a place of discontent, but like always looking at what's next. Like, how can we make it better? How can we improve this? What are some things that we're doing really well here? What are some things that we could do even better? And, I again, like I said, it doesn't mean that that what I wanted to do was better than the places I was working out of. I think you're going to get this, but it was just different. I just wanted to do something a little bit different, a little tweak to how we treated people, a little tweak to what the goals were. A lot of gyms are really focused on like numbers and weight, and for me, I never really felt good when people treated me like a number. Right. So I didn't want to create a spot where people were just treated like numbers. So like that was another thing that was really big for us. So I finally made that decision in like early 2012. I was like, okay, I'm going to take this serious. I'm going to see what this looks like. And what I set out to do in 2012 and what I actually ended up opening up with in 2013 are very different as far as like the business plan and what we actually opened up with. But I think that's what people have to be open to. You have a vision, but you got to be willing to start where you can. And what I was able to start with was a few pieces of equipment, some turf, a 3,000 square foot facility, and just me. And I was open to that, and I was willing to do that. And like you said, I mean, it was a jump. It was like, okay, I'm making good money here. I'm training people. I got a full client book. I'm on the west side of Cincinnati. Now I'm getting ready to open this gym in Fairfax, which is on the complete opposite side of the city. I don't know anyone there. And I was living with my sister at the time, and she came home and said, I'm quitting my job and moving to Colorado. So I was like, okay, well, I just signed a lease on a building because you gave me the bright idea to start a business, and now you're leaving. And now not only do I have to carry a lease note, but I got to get my own apartment, and I don't have any clients that are going to come train with me. So it was really just a leap of faith, man. It was, like I said, it was just really looking at it and saying, okay, I believe in what we can do. I believe in the concept. I believe that there's people that are waiting for this gym to open. And if I don't take this step, I'm already letting these people down. These are people I didn't know. These are people that I'd never met before, but I knew that we had to step into that arena and provide a service for people that were kind of being left behind in the fitness industry.
And then, John, so you're an Elder grad from 2008, and you went to a school called Cincinnati.
I did.
And so you get done 2013, you're done with school, and then you get a Facebook message from Alex, and then here you are now.
Real quick, though, can I point out the shade that was just thrown in that? A school called Cincinnati.
I was just making sure I was saying
he didn't say the University of Cincinnati.
It's just the city.
It's just the school called
it's
Cincinnati.
It's a great school.
It's a little shade,
but
pretty good school.
Yeah, they've done some great things, with campus, especially over the last couple of years. But John, you get the Facebook message. Yeah. You're just getting out of college at this point.
Yeah.
Making the decision to join Alex, and obviously you guys have flourished here.
Yeah. I got I saw the message, so he didn't directly send it to anybody.
Oh, I thought this was not even like a direct hey John, can you?
This is very professional.
I'm just a person coming out of the woodworks like, hey, I saw what you posted, and I'm gonna follow up. But no, I was just finishing up at UC. I just came out of like a temp job. Prior to that, I had some jobs that were like manual labor, things like that, just to get me through college as I went through. And then that temp job, I mean, obviously it was temporary, so. I was trying to think of what I was going to do after that. I had some money saved up from those jobs and everything, and I didn't really feel like my skill set was being utilized being at those places, and I wanted to do something different. I just graduated college. I was like, all right, we'll see what I can do in these next 3 months or so, and figure out what I want to do from there. I saw his post. He literally kind of reached out, see if anybody would want to help out his gym and do stuff there, and I didn't really have the goal in mind to go there and just like, all right, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to work with him, and here we go. I don't know if he even had the intention of me doing that initially.
I just needed some help.
I
just needed help, man. I was struggling.
So I just came out there and just he would run a few classes, or he would work with people hands-on. I would kind of shadow him, just kind of see the ropes of how everything's done, how he communicates with people and things like that. As time went on and stuff, I started to get my own client base. I would work with a few people here and there. And then from there, it just kind of took off. We just kept running more and more classes. I got more and more experience. It was a grind early on with anything else. It's
100%.
There's a lot of stuff going on that. Yeah.
Tell them the story, man. Tell them about the day you tried to get home.
Oh, yeah. So there's 3 trainers, and then they left. And I was one of the last to leave and everything. And I turned on my car, and I didn't have a whole lot of gas left in my car. So not a whole lot going on in my bank account at the moment. So couldn't go that route. So I had a little change jar on my desk, and I was literally like just counting out dimes and quarters out of my change jar to get some gas. So it was a grind.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if everybody's been there. I've been there before.
I think everyone that does something in an entrepreneurial type way without a ton of backing on the side.
Right.
I mean, those are going to happen, but how do you make the decision, I'm not going to move away from this, I'm going to take it head on? Like when you look in your car and you have some loose change to try and get home with some gas, like what pushes you when you get home or the next day that kept you guys going on that? Because you guys have both had challenging moments, and you'll continue to have them as you move forward, because there's always new challenges and problems that come your way. But what kept you going? What keeps you guys going right now?
I saw the good in what we were doing. I saw the positive impact it had on people's lives beyond the physical stuff of it. I saw some of the people that were affected by him. I saw people that were like crying and opening up to him about things that were going on in their lives. And it's like, this is way bigger than just physical fitness. This is people being affected emotionally.
Do you see people with like those similar emotional problems? Like when you talk to people, do you see a pattern, or do you guys find that with each person they tend to have different obstacles that they're facing?
The obstacles are unique, but I mean, there's definitely a pattern. I mean, it can be as simple as like, we know this about everybody we meet. There's always one more thing about that person that we don't know. Yeah. They're dealing with some sort of pain, whether it's, man, I just stubbed my toe, and that's the only pain they've ever felt in their life. Then in perspective, that's the worst thing that's ever happened to them. Or they just lost someone, or they had a bad day at work, or they don't like their bodies, or they have an eating disorder. So, I mean, it can get very real, man. I mean, we're dealing with people in real life situations. It's not always just like, like let's box and throw punches. I mean, people are really fighting for something every single day. So as far as that goes, I mean, you can see patterns. You can see why people struggle to lose weight, or they can't overcome something in their diet because there's a sense of comfort there, or it's the one spot in their life that they have control. So when they have a bad day, they're going to turn to this at least, if they have no control anywhere else. So you can definitely find a pattern. But like I said, it really comes down to every single person we encounter, no matter if they're making a burrito at Chipotle, or they're valeting your car at the nice restaurant, or they're the owner of the nice restaurant. They all got something that they're struggling with. So.
I think one thing that you guys talk about is I think what's challenging for a lot of entrepreneurs and people that are very passionate is that their passions get taken advantage of at times.
Yeah.
And being able to combine the transactional side of it and making sure that you can make a living doing what you're doing and being able to separate the two. You know, me, when I've worked as an entrepreneur, other guys, girls that I talk to that are starting their own business, one of the biggest challenges is being able to balance those two, because you're talking about really connecting with people, offering a service where they're not just handing your money and then you're taking it and giving them something. Like you guys are offering more than that. You know, how have you been able to separate creating a business, but at the same time also valuing and maintaining those relationships?
I think it's just developing that relationship early. When you sit down with them, we always take people through like basically like a kind of like a precursor to them even working out, just asking them more about their life than fitness goals and things like that. So, and I think our personalities are kind of just available for people. We know our boundaries with people too, but at the same time we're open, and I think we have that knack for just being able to listen to people and have a good understanding of what you do, because that side of it's so important of it, because it's going to be tough for somebody to mentally be into physically working out and being tired, and it's not an easy process, and we know it's challenging. So to have somebody in your corner that kind of understands what you're going through, there might be a day something happens, you get a flat tire or something like that, you're carrying that with you to the gym and everything, and you need that escape. You need somebody to kind of be that positive part in your life at that moment.
Yeah, and we sum it up in a word that I learned from one of my business mentors. He calls it relational. So it's the two words that you actually said. It's a relationship first and then transaction. So you have to have relationships and transaction. If you're all relation, you don't get anything done. You're volunteering. If you're all transaction, it's hard to really connect with people, right? We connect through relationships. So what we try to do is establish a relationship up front, and then we make sure that we have the transaction, because the reality is we can't offer the service if we're not making the money, right? So we do plenty of things. We have a ton of grace when we work with people, but we got to make sure that we're being relational first, because we see people. We don't see dollar signs. And then at the end of the day, we have to make sure that we're making some sort of transaction in order so that we can be here for the next person that needs our services. So,
are you guys 7 days a week? Are you going every single day pretty much? Or you guys take any days off?
we're 6 days.
6 days?
Yeah. And Fridays are a little bit half days. Saturdays are kind of half days, early mornings. But Sundays off, man.
Okay.
Gotta have that time to recover.
All right, great stuff. All right, we're gonna get to some difficult questions right now.
All right.
Okay, I mentioned before you guys came on here that I'm gonna ask each of you 10 different questions.
Ooh, cool.
They're all yes or no.
I'm ready.
They're all true or false. Study. Would you rather? I want very authentic. First thing that comes to mind.
All right.
So who wants to go first? I'll let you guys figure it out.
John, you go ahead and go
John,
first.
you're going first here?
Right, cool. I'll go first.
All right, John. 10 questions with John Andriacco.
I'm doing all 10 back to back?
Yeah.
10 in a row, bud.
Jeez.
You got to jump in. It's like jumping in the ring for 1 minute.
All right, let's go.
I'm going to start you off kind of easy.
Okay.
And then as they progress from 1 to 10, they're going to get a little bit more challenging. Okay. I'll read them slow.
Gotcha.
10 questions with John Andriacco. Question 1. Bengals game or a Reds game?
Bengals game.
Better superhero, Batman or Superman?
Batman's more like he's got nice combat. Like he's got some good skills. Superman's he's just got like that. I mean, he didn't have to train or anything. He's just it is what it is.
Batman.
Yeah, go with Batman.
We'll go with Batman.
Yeah.
What is worse, Cheeto hands or wet jeans?
Oh man, wet jeans are rough.
That's it. That's a tough one for me. I would
That'd
rather
ruin
be
your day.
a world famous boxer or a world famous UFC fighter.
Boxer.
True or false? 1 out of every 3 times you go shopping for clothes, you end up with a flannel shirt or something plaid.
True.
The funny thing is I don't have a lot, but that really sounded good. Like I was like, oh man, flannel.
If you had to think about it, it's true.
True or false?
It made me true. I'll go true. Yeah.
Okay.
It sounded good.
Bigger influence on your life.
Yeah.
Kimbo Slice or The Rock?
Oh man. The Rock.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
You want Kimbo to be a bigger influence on your life, but he hasn't been.
Yeah.
True or false? You became a personal trainer because wearing a cutoff T-shirt is somewhat acceptable.
False. I rarely.
I don't think I've ever seen you in a cutoff.
I don't see you guys in a lot of cutoffs, but it is semi-acceptable if you ever wanted to wear it to the gym.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
True or false? The best quality you have found in your life to this point is your ability to grow a mustache.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's
absolutely.
true.
Yeah, that's pretty good. He's got a good beard.
Without that, I think life would be meaningless.
Yeah. True or false? You can do 50 consecutive quality push-ups.
True.
Even though you went to UC, you understand that Xavier basketball is an overall better program and in a much better place for years to come.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
True, I like that. I like that. That was awesome. No fight back
good,
on
man.
there.
Good
John,
job,
thank you.
man.
You did a good job in the 10 questions. That's
Thank
it.
you. I
good.
appreciate it.
Alex, are you prepared?
Yeah, let me get a drink real quick.
Okay.
All right, I'm ready.
10 questions with Alex Harbin.
Let's do this.
Which was worse, Chris Webber's timeout in the NCAA title game, Michigan, North Carolina, or J.R. Smith running the clock out in Game 1 of the NBA Finals?
J.R. Smith. Easy.
Night at OTR, night at the Banks.
Banks.
I'd rather have a night at the movies or a night at home watching the Netflix binge.
Netflix all day.
Yeah, that sounds you.
Bigger influence on your life, the Bible or Ric Flair?
See, you're putting me in a weird spot, but I'm going to say the Bible. But again, I think I want Ric Flair to be, I never thought about it, but I want him to be more of an impact on my life. than he
it's
This
has.
more-
is my flannel question.
Yeah,
Like,
this
I
is your
want-
yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted the flannel.
So we're gonna go Bible
Yeah,
final
we'll go
answer.
Bible, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yes or no? You own a gym so you can work out as much as you want without penalty because technically it is your job.
False.
Would you rather be a boxer or a WWE wrestler?
WWE wrestler. I have dreams about. I already have a character and everything made up. Go ahead.
The Rock.
The Rock stand-in.
True or false? You flex in the mirror every night before I go to sleep and think, damn, I am huge.
If I answer this untruthfully, my wife will hear this.
So answer it. What would Chelsea say?
Chelsea would say true, but it's not true. It's not true, but she would think it was true.
I want it to be true for my own.
Yeah, I want it to be true
Yeah,
as well.
It's not true, but I might start again. I might look more into Ric Flair and more flexing.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
all
wouldn't
right.
even be bothered by it either.
No.
I'd just be like, that's what he does.
I like the thought process behind this. You want to make sure you give me the correct answer on all these.
Yeah.
All right, true or false? You only do photo shoots with Lululemon for the free gear.
False.
Thank you. And then, yes or no? Even though you, yes or no? Even though you are an elder grad, you hate the color purple.
No, I don't.
Do you wear purple outside of when you wear an elder shirt?
For a while, I did. But once I take every opportunity I can to plug the gym, man, and that's black and white and gray. So
There you go.
Like
Okay,
a
hey,
lavender.
this is Alex. This is your last question.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
tough one.
Okay.
It's a yes or no question.
All right.
Okay, when playing preseason for the Bengals, you secretly tanked it so that you didn't have to play for a losing team.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I was like, I've always pondered that. I've always wondered, like, was I an amazing talent and the Bengals just dropped the ball, or was I not even
What
good
happened?
enough
Yeah.
to make the Bengals?
Because when
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That puts me on two totally opposite spectrums.
Yeah.
Like,
So
I'm
how long were you in preseason for the Bengals after Mount St. Joe's?
Man, I did a couple of private workouts, and then
Yeah.
I did like the rookie camp leading up, and then I didn't get invited into the preseason camp. So it was, it was a couple weeks, but I mean,
Yeah.
one continuous week. I was in there with some great guys. Some of those great guys are still playing for the Bengals and still in the league. So yeah, I mean, it was a fun time, man. But
Nice.
I still don't know if I was not good enough or I was so good and they missed me.
I think they missed you.
I think
they missed John
the
too.
Patriots,
I
the
came in
Patriots
for a
would
few
have
kick
me.
returns
Yeah.
around the same time. I don't know if he saw me.
He didn't. But
Jeez. John, are you doing a boxing class later this afternoon?
Yes, 6
Okay.
p.m.
Okay.
6
I'm not going to be there. I am not-
You can't do it with broken ribs.
Yeah, I had.
yeah, you're going to be at the ER.
We got to. I can't wait to get that shot out there. You said initially that I was going to get punched 3 times in a row, and I could only handle really the first jab. We had to split them up a little bit.
Oh, no, I was gonna do one at a time.
Oh, I thought you were going to do 3 in a row.
No.
I was going to stand in there like a champ and.
Oh.
The right hand kind of missed. It went up.
Yeah, the right
it
hand
slid a little
missed.
bit.
The one in the middle was a good shot, but that first shot you got.
It's
No,
your
the
liver.
first shot you got
I
that
think
was a left. That was a
Yeah,
left
he
little
dug
cutter,
in on that too,
shot.
man.
and you hit me good.
Yeah.
And you hit me good.
You guys should probably resolve whatever.
I
is
do
going
feel
on.
bad. I don't feel good about hitting you that
No,
hard.
I don't feel good either.
I suggested it.
Somehow he's
You
the
did
victim in
suggest
this.
it.
Somehow John is the one that
God.
doesn't feel good.
Well, hey, guys, that was fantastic stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for taking the time to be with the Be
Absolutely.
Different podcast
Man,
today.
Thanks for having us.
And for everybody else who's listening, before I cut you off, we got to do a little bit of promotion because the Be Different podcast right now, guy, we do this for free. So if you like this, please make sure that you're following us on Instagram, you're following us on Twitter, and if you really like it, please share it to a friend. Just send a quick video, send over a follow request, subscribe on YouTube. We're a few short of our goal right now of 100 subscribers, so please go on to YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Once we get to 100, it allows us to kind of move a little bit differently. So
Listen, if you attend Iron Sharpens Iron and you come to work out here and you're listening to this right now, you got to hit subscribe. Let's get them to their goal.
you got to hit subscribe. We got to get to our goal. We're trying to make a movement here. And for Alex Harbin, John Andriacco, Nick Given, Greg Wichard, Brad Redford, your host, the Be Different podcast is out of here.